Kedandawendan anukiwen, chiwichado gijian shinwak. Tikinagan abinojishigama, udandawenman anukinaganan wananawangak. Kikaminuendan kedanukiwen, chiminu undisian, chiminuskagwian ketanad suwanang, mina chikiknohama goyen, kaye awashime chikikendaman kedanukiwen.
Are you looking for a career that empowers First Nation communities? Tikinagan Child and Family Services is hiring in Sioux Lookout. We offer new employees a rewarding career, competitive benefits, an inclusive culture, and opportunities for training and development. Current positions available in Sioux Lookout include finance, human resources, and data entry. To learn more and to apply, visit tikinagan.org.
Did you know Tikinagan Child and Family Services serves the District of Thunder Bay? Tikinagan Child and Family Services works together with First Nations communities to protect children and help families create and sustain a healthy, safe home environment. But we all have a moral obligation to protect our children from harm so that they can live in safety and grow up to become our community's leaders. If you're concerned for a child's well-being, call Tikinagan or your local Children's Aid Society. To learn more, visit tikinagan.org or call 1-800-465-3624.
Whatche, bonjour. You are now listening to Kahkenuh Aweyuk, Everyone Together on TikTok Radio, hosted by Tikinagan Child and Family Services. We appreciate you tuning into our weekly program every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern on Wawate Radio. Tikinagan is a community-based child and well-being agency rooted in and accountable to the First Nation communities we serve. We are here because we want to protect our children, help our families, and nurture our communities. To learn more about Tikinagan, visit tikinagan.org.
Hello, bonjour, wajé. You're listening to Kahkenuh Aweyuk. I'm your host Tobias, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with youth facilitators from the Sioux Lookout First Nations Health Authority about healthy relationships. Before we get started, let's meet our guests.
Hi, my name is Angie Morris. I'm from Kahkenuh First Nation, and thank you for inviting us for the interview.
Hello, my name is Tara Munoz. I'm a youth facilitator for Sioux Lookout First Nations Health Authority, and I am from Red Lake First Nation. And we're here to talk about healthy relationships.
Awesome. Thank you for introducing yourselves. So, without further ado, let's get started.
All right.
What does a healthy relationship look like?
That is a good question, and I think the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And relationship with yourself and anybody else, first off, you're striving for balance like the medicine wheel with 4 sections. You have your mind leads to make decisions, which leads to actions, and then you have the body section. And then in the body section is where you do your actions. Actions influence our emotions. And then the other section is emotions and reactions, because our emotions and reactions influence our values. The last section I want to talk about with the medicine wheel, the spirit and values. Our values influences our decisions, and it goes all around again. It's like a big circle. With another person, a healthy relationship means you feel safe, trusted, and accepted. It's also being able to communicate, being able to know how your partner is feeling, like their emotions, and just like listening to them, to what they say, what they're sharing, being honest, having mutual respect for one another, being able to trust one another. Trust is a big thing. And then also being able to be who you are with other people around you, with your friends and your partner or whoever you have relationships with.
Well said. What influences then a relationship?
We all learn how to be in a relationship by watching those around us. It could be our parents or grandparents too. When we see our parents in a relationship, we take cues from their relationship and use it in our own. For example, growing up, I always saw my grandparents, sitting together and having tea. And here in Silicon, there's not much options to go out around, but like since the pandemic, now I go to Tim's, sit down with my partner, and those are little things that are influencing me. And other influences could be peers, our friends that we hang around with. Having a good friend group can provide an opportunity to learn skills and social dating.
So then, how does someone achieve balance in a relationship?
Yeah, that is a good question as well, because like we were talking about earlier about the man's role, you have to have a balance. So that's reflecting on yourself and what kind of personal values you have that are important to you in a relationship. They could be anything from honesty, trust, understanding, affection. Respecting boundaries is one of them, and kindness. These values could be our own personal goals, which would in turn turn into goals for the relationship with someone. And when we achieve the balance, the things that make you feel good and love.
Okay, here's a question. After you reflect on yourself, what about relationships with others?
Just reflecting on the other people in your life that you want that kind of a healthy relationship with. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be an auntie, an uncle, a cousin, or in our case, cousins, because we have lots of cousins, grandparents, classmates, teachers, coaches, your parents, or a significant other, and meaning a boyfriend or girlfriend. It could also be your gaming buddies or anyone online.
All right, now given the state of the world with the pandemic, and it's kind of reaching its end, we're not quite sure what direction it's heading, but there's been I've read a lot about things about online relationships. What's to be said about that?
Online relationships, long distance relationships occur more often nowadays. I was in one with my partner as well, because we were going to different schools. We used FaceTime, to connect with their partners, family, friends. That's a good way to, keep in check with your family, right? Of course, online relationships have to be, be careful. Be safe with your selfies. Protect yourself and your images online. When you're talking to someone like online, and when it starts to feel creepy or start to bully you, you have the power to block them or delete them and tell an adult. As well as online games too. There's lots of online communities for gamers and specific to systems such as Xbox, Steam, PS4. These are different platforms where relationships can grow.
Now let's talk about the other end of the spectrum here. What about unhealthy relationships? Can you talk to that?
That's a good point. And also I want to add a trigger warning just for the audience out there in terms of unhealthy relationships. It could be with anybody in your life, and it could also be with yourself. An unhealthy relationship is where, your medicine wheel of balance is off. For example, remember how when I said your emotion/reaction affects your values? Well, what if you're mad and it can affect your kindness value in your spiritual section, and then, you go decide to yell or get mad at not only at yourself, but somebody else? But you make that decision there, and then you go hurt yourself or your significant other, and that's the body section. You're physically hurting. Or it can be how other people treat you. They may not have the same value relationships, such as the same values as you. They could be lying or being disrespectful by calling you names or bullying you, not accepting for who you are, and not being supportive.
What are the characteristics that someone should look for in an unhealthy relationship?
For a person who is in an unhealthy relationship, this person's medicine wheel could be unbalanced as a result, declining mental health, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Like physically, being harmed by a person, whether that's pinching, punching, being shoved, or emotional, that's shaming, putting our down, our self-worth, emotionally unavailable. Mentally, you lower self-esteem in a relationship, not being able to share feelings without reaction. Spiritual, like you feel a spiritual, when you feel violence, lateral violence from peers, that really brings down our self-worth and our spiritual.
Okay, so you have all these facts, you know what an unhealthy relationship is. If you're in one, what can you do about it?
You can reach out to people who care for you. It could be your parents, it could be your aunties, it could be an uncle, your cousins, your gokam or your gumsham. Reach out. You can also look into online resources. We have cool resources on our AYN Facebook page, SLFNA, Tikinagan Family Services, Ontario Native Women's Association has some good resources, and wearenative.com. You can also call supportive agencies such as NODEN, the mental health department of SLFNA. There's also nanhope.ca, youthline.ca, and both of them have chat options and texting. So, check them out, and I'm sure they can help you. And I'm sure there's a lot more. Just look around at resources around you.
That's a lot of information today. We've taken in a lot about healthy relationships, unhealthy relationships, even online relationships. That about wraps it up and all the time we have for today. So before we go, I want to thank the Sioux Lookout First Nations Health Authority and our guests for chatting with us today. Hopefully there's something our youth and listeners can take away from today's conversations. So I'll just pass it back to you guys. Is there anything else you want to say or add to this conversation?
That's all for us. If you have any questions, if you want to ask or inquire about what ACW or First Nation Community Wellbeing has to offer, check out SLFNA.com for information on services, or you can email acwinfo@slefna.com. So that's acwinfo@slefna.com.
And also check out on our social media, AYN Anishinaabe Youth Network on Facebook, and we're also on TikTok.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Tyrell. And thank you for our listeners for tuning in. That's all for today, folks. Miigwech. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Kahkenuh Aweyuk, Everyone Together on TikTok Radio, hosted by Tikinagan Child and Family Services. Miigwech.
At Tikinagan Child and Family Services, we believe the answers lie within the communities. The Creator entrusted First Nations with the sacred responsibility of protecting our children and developing strong families and healthy communities. The Chiefs created Tikinagan to support and strengthen our children, our families, and our communities. The future of our communities is our children. Help foster connection in your community by becoming a foster parent or a live-in foster parent with Tikinagan. Learn more at tikinagan.org or call 1-800-465-3624.
Ohma Tikinagan, Misdebutamank, Mihima Iskonagan Ehtek, Kananantunamak. Mandogadanduanum Goman Koyak Tikanuan Makani Jan Snanak, Mina Jamaskawatoeka Debensganan, Mina Gadskunagan Nanan. Ogamakana go give Nasawa Tikinagan, who had to do the minute. Abinojis, Mihawe Niganu at Ganimadzis Tamagoyak. We just nam, Hiwe Chuganawan Mausian. Nanda Hima Chugabeshian, Chuganuan Mausian. Give again Tikinagan.org. Nanda Kanus, Basic, Nisaso, Wawi Bigan, Niwan, Nugudaso, Nianan. Nasin Nugudaso, Nishan, Niwan.